God removed the narcissist's demon spirit. Now they're losing their mind. Have you ever wondered what happens when a narcissist, who has spent their entire life manipulating, controlling, and exploiting others, suddenly finds themselves stripped of their power? Imagine this. The charm they once wielded effortlessly begins to falter. Their carefully constructed facade crumbles, and their ability to dominate those around them evaporates. It's as if an unseen force has intervened, dismantling the very foundation of their identity. Could it be divine intervention? Many believe that when God removes the demon spirit, fueling a narcissist's toxic behavior, the unraveling that follows is nothing short of shocking. Intrigued? Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the psychological and spiritual dynamics at play when a narcissist loses their grip on reality, and why this moment of reckoning might just be the most profound form of justice. Whether you've been hurt by a narcissist or are simply curious about how transformation occurs, both in individuals and through higher powers, you won't want to miss this discussion. Before we begin, I want to invite you to join me on this journey of understanding. If you've ever felt powerless in the face of a narcissist's manipulation or questioned whether fairness will ever prevail, you're not alone. As someone who has studied human behavior and witnessed countless stories of triumph over adversity, I'm here to share insights rooted in both psychology and spirituality. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. What exactly makes a narcissist tick? At first glance, they appear confident, charming, and larger than life, qualities that often draw people in. But beneath the surface lies a fragile ego propped up by constant validation from others. Narcissists thrive on admiration and control, using manipulation tactics to keep those around them under their thumb. Whether it's love bombing in the early stages of a relationship or engaging in smear campaigns after things fall apart, their actions are calculated to maintain dominance. The problem is, their insatiable need for attention creates a cycle of exploitation that leaves victims feeling drained, confused, and devalued. But here's where faith comes into play. When you trust in a higher power, you open yourself up to divine guidance and protection, which ultimately leads to the unraveling of the narcissist's carefully constructed facade. Think about it. Why do narcissists go to such lengths to manipulate and dominate others? It's because they fear vulnerability and rejection above all else. Their grandiose exterior masks a deep-seated insecurity, and their relentless pursuit of power is an attempt to shield themselves from facing their own flaws. But here's the catch. No amount of external validation can fill the void inside them. Eventually, their tactics backfire, exposing their true nature to the world. When someone relies on lies, deceit, and cruelty to maintain relationships, they inevitably alienate those closest to them. Friends grow distant, partners leave, and colleagues lose respect, all outcomes that align perfectly with the principle of divine justice. Every selfish act, every betrayal, chips away at their support system until there's nothing left but the stark reality of their isolation. But wait, how does God step in during these moments of reckoning? Is it through dramatic interventions, like lightning bolts or sudden epiphanies? Or is it something subtler, woven into the fabric of everyday life? In truth, it's both. On one level, divine intervention manifests as opportunities for growth, clarity, and transformation for you. As you distance yourself from the narcissist and focus on rebuilding your life, doors begin to open that were previously closed. New friendships form, career prospects improve, and inner peace becomes attainable. These blessings serve as reminders that you are divinely protected and guided, even when the path seems uncertain. On another level, Divine justice operates within the narcissist's own choices, ensuring that their destructive behaviors lead to consequences they cannot escape. It's almost poetic. God uses their own actions against them, turning their arrogance into vulnerability and their cruelty into karmic retribution. Now let's talk about the role timing plays in divine intervention. One of the hardest parts of dealing with a narcissist is watching them seemingly get away with their bad behavior for now. They may charm new friends, secure promotions, or find temporary success despite their toxic tendencies. But remember, God's timing is perfect, even if it doesn't align with our expectations. Sometimes, lessons unfold slowly, allowing individuals to grow and learn without being overwhelmed. This delay can feel frustrating, especially when you're still healing from the damage they caused. However, there's beauty in waiting. Time reveals truths that no amount of deception can hide. As the saying goes, the truth will set you free, and in the case of narcissists, the truth often sets them up for failure. People begin to see through their lies, question their motives, and distance themselves from the chaos they create. By staying patient and trusting in God's plan, you allow divine justice to unfold naturally. Speaking of trust, have you ever noticed how narcissists struggle to form genuine connections? Despite their outward confidence, they lack the empathy required to sustain meaningful relationships. This deficiency becomes glaringly obvious once the initial honeymoon phase fades. Partners realize they're being used rather than loved, friends notice they're treated as pawns rather than equals, and coworkers recognize they're viewed as stepping stones rather than collaborators. All these realizations contribute to the narcissist's downfall, as their web of manipulation unravels piece by piece. Without loyal supporters to prop them up, they're forced to confront the emptiness they've created, a fate that fits perfectly within the framework of divine justice. Every action they take to harm others ultimately harms themselves, fulfilling the biblical principle that whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Here's a thought-provoking idea. What happens when a narcissist tries to blame everyone else for their problems? Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. While shifting responsibility might temporarily protect their fragile ego, it ultimately isolates them further. Think about it. No one wants to be around someone who refuses to take accountability for their actions. Friends stop inviting them to gatherings, family members tire of their excuses, and professional opportunities dry up due to their inability to collaborate effectively. Even worse, their refusal to acknowledge their mistakes prevents personal growth, trapping them in a cycle of stagnation. Meanwhile, those who've moved on from their toxicity flourish, finding happiness and fulfillment elsewhere. Isn't it poetic justice that the very traits enabling their rise to power become the chains binding them to mediocrity? Let's shift gears for a moment and discuss the concept of energy. Have you ever heard the phrase, "What you resist persists"? It applies beautifully to dealing with narcissists. When you engage with their drama, whether by arguing, defending yourself, or seeking revenge, you inadvertently give them energy. Their manipulative tactics thrive on reaction, feeding off your emotions like fuel for their fire. But what happens when you stop reacting altogether? Silence becomes your greatest weapon. By refusing to play their game, you cut off their supply of attention and validation. This withdrawal of energy sends shockwaves through their carefully curated existence, forcing them to reckon with the void they've created. And divine intervention amplifies this effect, ensuring that their attempts to regain control only dig them deeper into their self-made pit. Of course, ignoring a narcissist isn't easy, not at first anyway. There will be moments when their words sting, their accusations hurt, or their promises tempt you to re-engage. But here's the empowering part. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Each act of restraint strengthens your resolve, reminding you that you deserve better than to be caught in their web. Over time, this practice builds resilience, teaching you to prioritize your well-being over their demands. Picture this. Instead of wasting energy trying to prove your worth to someone incapable of appreciating it, you redirect that energy toward building a life filled with joy, purpose, and authentic connections. Doesn't that sound like freedom? Trust that God is guiding you toward this liberation, step by step. As we continue exploring the intersection of divine justice and narcissism, let's touch on the importance of focusing inward. Healing from a toxic relationship requires introspection, self-awareness, and a commitment to personal growth. Many survivors spend months, or even years, obsessing over their ex-narcissist's actions, wondering why they were treated so poorly or replaying painful memories in their minds. While processing these emotions is crucial, fixating on the narcissist keeps you tethered to their influence. Divine justice teaches us that letting go is essential for moving forward. When you release attachment to their behavior and focus on nurturing your own spirit, you open yourself to blessings far greater than anything they could offer. Love, success, and inner peace flow naturally when you align with positivity rather than dwelling in negativity. Have you ever considered how divine justice impacts not just individuals, but entire communities? Narcissists often wreak havoc beyond their immediate circle, affecting workplaces, families, and social groups. Their divisive behavior fosters mistrust, fuels conflict, and disrupts harmony wherever they go. Yet, divine justice ensures that their destructive influence eventually implodes. Coworkers unite against their toxic leadership style, family members band together to protect vulnerable relatives, and friends rally to support those harmed by their antics. These collective efforts serve as a reminder that good always triumphs over evil, even if it takes time. And when the dust settles, the narcissist stands alone, stripped of the power they once wielded. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on forgiveness. While divine justice handles the heavy lifting of delivering consequences, forgiveness liberates you. Holding on to anger and resentment toward a narcissist only prolongs your suffering, keeping you emotionally tied to their toxicity. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing their behavior or absolving them of responsibility. It means releasing the burden of carrying their pain. When you forgive, you signal to the universe and to God that you're ready to move on, creating space for positive energy to enter your life. Divine justice picks up where forgiveness leaves off, ensuring that the narcissist faces the consequences of their actions while you embrace the future with renewed hope and optimism. Now, imagine this scenario. Years down the road, you run into your ex-narcissist or hear about them through mutual acquaintances. Instead of bitterness or regret, you feel a sense of calm knowing that divine justice has already taken care of business. Perhaps they'd lost their job due to unethical practices, struggled to maintain meaningful relationships, or faced public humiliation after their lies caught up with them. Whatever the outcome, you realize that their struggles stem directly from the seeds they planted long ago. Meanwhile, you've grown into a stronger, wiser version of yourself, surrounded by people who genuinely appreciate and respect you. Doesn't that realization make all the pain and heartache worth it? Let's circle back to the idea of universal balance. Life operates on principles of fairness, even if the timeline isn't always clear. Every cruel remark, every manipulative scheme, every act of betrayal contributes to the karmic ledger, accruing debts that must eventually be repaid. For narcissists, this repayment often comes in the form of loneliness, failure, or exposure. Their inability to form genuine connections leaves them isolated during times of need. Their reckless ambition leads to professional setbacks, and their web of lies unravels under scrutiny. None of this is coincidence. It's the natural consequence of their choices, playing out exactly as divine justice intended. At this point, you might be wondering, does divine justice really apply to everyone? Absolutely. No one is immune to the laws of cause and effect, regardless of their status, wealth, or charisma. Narcissists may deceive themselves into believing they're exempt from accountability, but the truth remains undeniable. Their actions shape their destiny. Whether it's losing a cherished relationship, facing legal repercussions for unethical behavior, or experiencing a crisis of identity, divine justice finds creative ways to deliver consequences. And the best part? You don't have to orchestrate any of it. Simply stepping aside and allowing divine justice to unfold is enough to ensure fairness prevails. Before we wrap things up, let's revisit the concept of empowerment. Dealing with a narcissist can leave you feeling powerless, as though their manipulation robs you of agency and control. But embracing the idea of divine justice flips the script entirely. Rather than seeking revenge or obsessing over their downfall, you channel your energy into becoming the best version of yourself. You cultivate self-love, pursue passions that ignite your soul, and surround yourself with supportive, uplifting individuals. In doing so, you embody the very qualities the narcissist lacks: authenticity, empathy, and resilience. And isn't that the ultimate form of triumph? To rise above their toxicity and shine brighter than ever before. Finally, let's talk about legacy. When all is said and done, what kind of mark do narcissists leave on the world? More often than not, their impact is fleeting, a series of broken relationships, tarnished reputations, and missed opportunities. Contrast that with the lasting impression made by those who choose kindness, integrity, and compassion. Your journey of healing and growth inspires others to follow suit, creating a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond your immediate circle. Divine justice rewards these contributions, amplifying their reach and ensuring that your light continues to shine long after the narcissist's shadow fades. Thank you for joining me today and taking the time to delve into the fascinating interplay between divine justice and narcissism. If you found this discussion enlightening, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this content with others who might benefit from it. Together, we can spread awareness, foster healing, and empower each other to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, experiences, and any questions you might have. Until next time, take care of yourself, honor your journey, and trust that divine justice is always working in your favor. You've earned this moment of clarity, and so much more.